So, hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is that time again. It is New Year's. I love New Year's, not for the reason I think most people do, which is sort of party, what's the word? Fireworks, drinking all night, staying up all night. I don't do any of that. I go to bed. I think I've done something for New Year's maybe twice in my whole entire life. I've gone off and done something or gone out with friends. I really don't like being around large crowds and partying and fireworks. I really don't like the sound of fireworks, honestly, so I avoid all of that. Also, I just like to go to bed early because I get up early. No matter how late I go to bed, I still wake up early. My body's just used to it. So New Year's is not a time for me to, in terms of staying out all night and party and do all that. That's not my jam. But I do like New Year's because I really like setting goals. Not even really setting goals, but I like to think of setting intentions for the new year, a way of actually reflecting on what I did the previous year, who I am as a person, and what I want to do, and what message, and meaning in my life that I want to have moving forward. So I look at it as more of, am I kind of staying true to myself? These are all kind of more I look at it more as characteristics, like things I want to improve upon in my life based on myself as a person, not something like losing weight or trying to find love or things like that, which are great if that's your goal. That's just not how I look at New Year. So I always encourage people to do it, figure out what works for you. What do you want to do? Who are you in this world? What do you want out of life, etc., etc. So I feel like New Year's is a time to kind of do that, to really take the time to reflect on what went well and what didn't, not to avoid the hardships or bad choices, but kind of confront those, look at them, figure out why you did what you did. That's at least what I do. And then how to kind of use that as a learning experience, if that makes sense. So I think last year's intentions that I had for the new year was all about being just more intentional in my life. So just kind of being a little bit more thoughtful with the things that I did, as well as just taking risks, so getting out of my comfort zone. So for me, that was presenting at the Diversity in Parenting Conference. I did that. I hate public speaking. It's not my thing at all. I'd really rather not do it. I can avoid it. I did it. It went well. It didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but I think we're all our own worst critics, and I got positive feedback, but it's still not something that was the most comfortable, but I did it anyway. And what else did I do? Gosh, I moved back to the States, even though I didn't really want to be back here so much, but that's its own that's another story, and I'm sure there's something else that I can't remember, but that's kind of how I look at New Year's and New Year's resolutions. So for this year's intentions, it's my kind of overarching thing is going to be more about being really disciplined. That tends, I don't know, it's weird. I like routines, I like structure, but in terms of making sure I'm doing things and getting things done, because I'm just incredibly busy right now, it's really easy for me to say, oh, I can do that tomorrow, or I'm too tired. We have this thing of giving ourselves permission to kind of take a break, or not being so hard on ourselves, things like that. And that's amazing, and that's definitely part of self-care and self-love, to give yourself some grace, give yourself a break. Don't always be so hard on yourself if you don't do what you should be doing. You don't need to run yourself ragged, things like that. But sometimes especially if you have an avoidant type, and I'm a little bit of an avoidant person, it can be really easy to kind of use that as an excuse not to get things done just because I don't really feel like doing it, or I'm really tired, or what have you. So that's part of why I was like, okay, this year I really need to be more disciplined. I know what needs to be done. I have a whole plan. Just follow the plan. Just like starting anything new, it takes time to make it a habit. I get up every morning, I walk my dog, I go to the gym, and it's weird to not do it now. It's just, I've been doing it for so long, it happens like that. Or I get up and I immediately make my bed. But I make my bed every day. It's just it's literally, I don't even think about it. So that's kind of the purpose of just being more disciplined and sticking to a routine, is once you get into, I know this for myself at least, once I get into the habit of doing it regularly, it becomes second nature. And that's kind of my hope, is just to stay on task and to make sure I am taking care of all the things that need to be taken care of, and not waiting to the last minute or just completely blowing it because I wasn't staying focused and wasn't being disciplined. So that's kind of my overarching theme for the year that I hope will help me just in all of the goals that come under that for the new year. So goals for my business, goals for my personal life, goals for traveling, learning language, like all the things that I want to do, checking things off my bucket list, prioritizing, making sure finances are okay. I mean, all of that stuff requires that I am going to be disciplined and on top of things. So making that more of a priority for myself. So here's a couple things I would suggest you try if you're just trying to maybe restart with the new year, reboot for the new year, trying to, just figure out what you want, is to sit down and figure out what it is you want out of life. I noticed something this morning when I was scrolling through social media. There's all kinds of stuff happening in the world, and all kinds of stuff happening in people's lives, and every group post or something I would click on, or that the headline would say on Facebook, it was something really negative, and I found myself, even though I woke up fine, being like, I'm feeling really funky, they don't feel so great. And so I was realizing that there's, as much as social media is really great for connecting, I have noticed that so many people bitch and moan and complain on the internet, and so on these groups, and there's so much negativity, not even necessarily directed at anybody, but I don't know, it feels like there's just a lot of complaining, and I get it, a lot of people don't have an outlet, they don't have anybody that they can connect with, so they use the internet. But I find that if I am around too much of that, it affects me. It puts me kind of in a negative space that I don't really like so much. So when I think about and I feel like part of that is people trying to live up to somebody else's expectations, or they don't really know what they want out of life, or they don't have a meaning or a purpose, or whatever word you want to use, and so they're just kind of floating along without any purpose. And I feel like that leads to a lot of unhappiness and frustration. So maybe before you sit down and decide what your New Year's resolutions are going to be, trying to figure out what it is that you want out of life. What is your expectation about your life and your future, and all of that. Just write it all out, so you can get maybe a little bit of clarity and some vision, so that when you do this next part, which is trying to figure out what goals you want to, or what you want to do for the new year, what you want to work on, you have a theme in mind, or you have your purpose in mind, you have your why in mind, why you want to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. So definitely I encourage you to journal. I think journaling is amazing. Some people don't like journaling. We all have voice apps on our phones. Use that voice app, talk it out on the voice app, but just find a way to get it out of your brain and out into the space, where you can actually kind of chart it and track it, and you can keep track of it. Basically, what's going on. Maybe if you're not into journaling, you can do something like a vision board, or anything. Make it fun, make it creative, but just figure out what it is you want to do and why you want to do it, and then from there you can determine the steps that you need to take in order to get that done. But I really hope that for 2020 and beyond, that you really focus on being the genuine you, figuring out who you are, who you want to be in this world, and embracing that wholeheartedly and lovingly, so that you feel a so you feel a sense of happiness or contentment, whatever word you want to use. Feel empowered. You don't feel so much as a slave to others' expectations or family expectations. You can set your boundaries if that's your goal, because you are being true and genuine and authentic to yourself. So that's kind of all I have for today. Just a quick video getting us prepped for the new year. I'm hoping to just really get started back on track in the New York, part of being disciplined and shooting more videos. So anyway, that's all I have for today's video. Comment down below and let me know, what are your goals for the new year? How do you look at New Year's? Do you like it? Do you not like it? share, let's have a conversation down below. You can also follow me on all of my social media. The links are in the description box below. And if you like this video, obviously click the like button or click the thumbs up. I don't know, my brain doesn't work right now. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. And don't forget to click the notification bell. And with that, I will see you guys all in the new year. Have a happy and safe New Year's, and I will see you in the next one.